love to talk about something you said before, which is when you're doing certain things right, when you're setting up consultations and you have an abundance of consultations, it really does become a numbers game, right? Because you charge high ticket offers, right? You're not selling things for a couple $100s, right? You have offers, especially when it comes to behavior modification or, separation anxiety and stuff like that, can be several $1,000s that you're charging people. So I'd love to kind of hear your mindset now going into consultations, because even from the beginning, when you set somebody up, when you have that first lead that comes in, you're setting them up for a free consultation, right?
Yep.
And so why do you do that?
Because I can't give them an honest price unless I see their dog and their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they're in way over their head.
Mm-hmm.
And if they just hear the sticker price, then they are going to feel so hopeless that they're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
And I need to show them that I can train dogs before they're going to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that has to do with how I prepare them for the assessment. And it shows them, wow, like this is just the assessment and my dog's not jumping up on them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This never happens.
Yep.
And it just reveals like, okay, I am who I say I am. I am a real person. And once they hear like that I have payment options, it makes it a lot more feasible for them to get the training they need. And I also have to educate them as to why they need this training, why it's an emergency, what's going to happen if they don't address this right now.
Yep.
It's a lot like selling someone a dental procedure. It really is an emergency, but it's one that is like sometimes slow rolling. So it's easy for them to put off.
Yep.
I need to communicate to them like, you're rolling the dice every day. You don't deal with this.
Yep.
And I'm able to give you peace of mind and help right now.
Yep.
Right now.
Totally.
If you give me a deposit.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny you bring up the idea of a dental procedure, because we actually have another client currently who used to work in that world and of dentistry. And she was saying she was having a hard time kind of like, she's like, I kind of feel like I know what to say in that realm, but sometimes I can struggle when it comes to dog training. And there's definitely a lot of overlap there, right? Because it's like when somebody has a cavity or needs a root canal done and they're like, oh, I'm just going to delay it. I'm going to put it off. It's like, well, listen, what's going to happen if you don't get that fixed? You're not going to, it's going to snowball, and all of a sudden you're not going to have any teeth left in your head. And then you're going to have a much bigger problem because you're going to need implants, and that's not cheap. So you're talking about the difference of spending a couple $100s now versus down the road having to spend $10,000, right? So for dog training, it can be a very similar thing where it's like, even if we are talking about selling them on a several $1,000 program now, when it really comes down to take aggression, right? Or reactivity, those things don't get better on their own. Right? Most times they're not just going to automatically resolve themselves. So I think making people aware of that and like, hey, I understand that this is an investment now, but that's exactly what this is. This is an investment now for the future with your dog, so that you don't have to be dealing with this in an even worse capacity in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Because God forbid this really starts to get worse and snowballs, and then you have, a dog that's bitten somebody. That's a way more expensive thing to deal with than, if you have a lawsuit on your hands versus taking care of it now and giving yourself an enjoyable life with your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just to your other point, when it comes to